It's my pleasure to introduce Tall Paul. Tall Paul was invited to share his talent with us last year, and we regret very much that his time for presentation was short, and he barely was able to get on stage to share some of his gifts. Tall Paul is an Anishinaabe artist known as a songwriter, hip-hop artist, splitter, emcee, rapper, and thinker. He began writing rhymes at age 14. He has struggled to learn his indigenous language, which he reveals in his work. Tall Paul's bilingual work in Ojibwe and English has gained momentum with conscious yet honest lyricism, placing him as one of the best beat artists offering this kind of selection. His work explores his struggle to learn his indigenous language, Anishinaabe, his journey towards a deeper understanding of his native identity, and the harsh realities of growing up in a poor urban landscape. Tall Paul raps in both English and Anishinaabe. Paul is an enrolled member of the Leech Lake Band of Ojibwe in northern Minnesota. He resides in Minneapolis. Tall Paul has also worked for the Division of Indian Work in a community-led initiative to close the achievement gap for American Indian students. Aided by deep appreciation for language and culture, Paul shares his education and experience with students at the Anishinaabe Academy, a K-8 Minneapolis public school. Tall Paul, welcome.
Check, 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 check. All right. So, yeah, we're going to plug in right here. And I'm going to let you, okay, cool. All right. You know what you're doing with this? You know what's up? Yeah.
Hello, everybody. I'm honored to be here. So, yeah, I'm a hip-hop artist. I also do youth work for the Division of Indian Work, and I'm a father. I'm a normal guy, you know, not so normal, I guess. I'll get into that a little later with my speech. But yeah, I'm gonna start with this performance. I'll perform about half the time and then get into my story. Okay, so the track's playing. Yeah. All right.
Perplexed, what's next? Head spinning, searching for the light and night, stomach upset. I seek enlightenment and find things like Corvettes. Still ain't find them, got some incompleted chores yet. Gifted by your presence, friends and spiritual effects. Breakneck, my diaphragm, chest ejects. Rexy Rex, fossils few, hostile muse. Litany tests only serve to mitigate disputes. Spit until I'm undisputed in the booth. Keep spitting so the rich can see deliverance of truth. Born with PSOs, I just hope to dig up roots. Bring it full circle like the hoop, I'm minute. The boldest aspiration is to outgrow self. Excavate a selfish past till we see hell. Try to escape it to mold a foundation. Roads that I paved with the red paint anchoring. Guys down from skies that are so cantankerous. When heat rises, wipe the sweat with the handkerchief. Or feel the sting of the sweat when it hits your eye. I'm Visine to the spirit of my mind's eye. A DIY, false purple kind guy. FYI, I could use some advice. You see why I can't prioritize shine. I'm near going blind like deer facing headlights already, babe. Be walk right. Is it possible to turn the beat up a little bit? Can y'all hear that out there? I don't know, I can't feel the beat. I need to feel the beat a little more if possible. Alright, we just gonna work with it. I'm having fun. Yeah. I walk right with the left-legged limp. Still put the pep in my step like a pimp. It's been a good day, I'm Ice Cube in a blimp. Some Goodyear tires on a Mark Cuban whip. Before you buy my BS, you better check my bin. You co-sign a broke man like a next of kin. Might mess around and let you down like I did my kid. I'm one drop of C-grams away from losing him. My name is Tall Paul, I'm an alcoholic. Used to think I was the shit because I was in college. You still think I am the shit, you say I'm kicking knowledge. My mind's behind my age, the wisdom's hardly polished. Still keep it modest, I'll never be the hottest. The harder the skills get, the less they're acknowledged. Shout out my leaders, the headless quick to follow. With legends, apparitions, till they fall in Sleepy Hollow. Baby, walk right. And when I say walk, y'all say right. Walk, walk, walk. Yeah. And when I say walk, walk, y'all say right, right. Walk, 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 walk. Yeah. I can feel that. Yeah. This song's called Heartache, and it's just about a little experience I had with some chest pains and a couple people in the community who passed as a result. I gave in to chest pains one day, provoked by breastplate stings instilling fear in me. I went to Google on my Mac to search computer keys for possible causes of the pain I was experiencing. I found a few common suggestions by the WebMD, but paid attention to those that could place me 6 feet deep. I recently heard of a kid who died of heart disease. Full of energy, only 16, his heart deceased. I was blessed to meet him a few times. Who would have thought in due time that I used mine to write about him even these few lines? So I dialed a 24/7 nurse's phone number. She elevated my nervousness, just making me wonder, could I be struck by your thunder, bringing about a fate like his? Or my lady's cousin, who in 2 days would be laid to rest due to his cardiac reasons. I found out heart disease is the leading cause of death for men and women every season. May he rest in peace, may she rest in peace. May the families get some sleep, rest in peace. The world knows they don't need another heartbreak. Get it checked if you should ever feel your heart ache. May he rest in peace, may she rest in peace. May the families get some sleep, rest in peace. The world knows they don't need another heartbreak. Don't wait for Valentine's to give your people heart shapes. Since heartache's the human's leading cause of death, my people, it's best we know to protect our spirits in our chest like the wool protects the neck. People's malice and intent to get established in my head like judges' malice. I reject, erect my status as the best substantial spitter laid to rest. When I inject back in this earth for what it's worth, that I respect. Cause I got one life to live and only one to leave my legacy. If I don't do it for myself, then not a soul is here protecting me. Unlike the ecosystems we dismiss people, we have a choice to not insert them poisons in our bodies, placing coins inside the pockets of rich and wealthy wealth for murderers. Exxon, liquor stores, McDonald's, put them all in cuffs. But it all starts with us. I've done some research and it's common sense process. Me saying good for the heart's work, put art first. Became aware I'm not invincible. Respect life, treat others like they're not invisible. I've yet to be diagnosed for my issue, but I ain't asking anybody for the tissue. I'm all good according to the doctor's EKG, but the pains in my chest, they have yet to cease. May he rest in peace, may she rest in peace. May the families get some sleep, rest in peace. The world knows they don't need another heartbreak. Get it checked if you should ever feel your heart ache. May he rest in peace, may she rest in peace. May the families get some sleep, rest in peace. The world knows they don't need another heartbreak. Don't wait for Valentine's to give your people heart shapes. Cause you know. This one's for the kids I work with, my son. Yeah. When all is said and done, I won't be there for you if I actually make it too, not phonetically whacking tunes. Earned a small taste, it drove me out of state. Paid during that record plays on repeat every day. I have to travel, dismantling the shadow of the gavel. Making it is only half the battle. The other half's recalling how my baby shook the rattle. Hiding out with high five, assembling your castle. I hope to mold it, I can't control my passion, hope to own it. Small breaks, relaxing by the ocean. Back to Minnesota to go and watch your toes kick. Sand by the lake, rightfully Carpe Diem Sky. Best known as Calhoun, DR. This time dad's car's parked in front of our lawn. Ha, probably not, still a bit much to drop. Just know my love for you and music's all I've got, son. One, I won't be there. Alright, can I get y'all to clap with me? Just clap with me, just clap with me. Come on, and keep clapping, alright, don't stop. So when I'm rapping, y'all, keep clapping. When I'm rapping, y'all, keep clapping. Keep clapping, keep clapping. When all is said and done, I won't be there for you if I actually make it too, not phonetically whacking tunes. When it comes to mentors, hope I'm not your absolute. Kid, I'm more passionate about being a rapping fool. So when a sheet of paper asks you who you look up to, don't only write my name because you see me after school. In all honesty, my plan is not to be there. I'll be there in the middle of nowhere, just beware. Buying whatever gear I please when I'm at the retail. Done taking value things to pawn shops for resale. Revealing secrets I can't trust you not to retail. Not the loving type, plus like variety in females. That might have been too much for your youthful ears. Yes, it's inappropriate and disillusions peers. I speak my truth in music, hope to amuse. Cheers, I care, but I've only got a few years to make. Thank you. So, this song's called I Won't Be There, and it's just about how I ain't gonna be there if I achieve my dreams and get on the road with my music. And I've done a little bit about that, a little bit of that. But if I'm out there alive, you know, touring and stuff, I'm not gonna be there as much as I would like to be. But I can also be a contradiction in life too, you know, I'm not perfect. So this next song's called I Will Be There, it's called I'll Be There. And I'm gonna need a little interaction from y'all on this one. So I'm gonna say, I'll be there when, and then I need y'all to kind of sing, it's over. And I'll give y'all a little hand gesture. I'll be there when, it's over. You know I'll be there when, it's over. Yeah, y'all got it. Thank you. Until you lose it. Prioritizing this dream, my responsibility kept me from music. My son moved out of town with his mom. I didn't take the time to prepare for it. Too busy stressed as a single dad and few willing to help me out with my kid. No time for rap. Got off work and got back to work. It was bad berserk. Being a single father when the MC just wanted to give paperwork to make paperwork in his favor first. First I'd have to make flavors burst through tooth conveying a frustrated jerk on the quest to my greatest verse. At the computer writing, many me begging me for attention. My attitude was misplaced. I wasn't truly mentally present. Though I knew I'd heavily miss him, it's comforting knowing he's not a bastard. Got a number one father conscience, just have yet to live to that standard. I like to think that I'm just being hard on myself, but I really know that I'm not. You see, my father role should be alone at the top, but I can't neglect this hip-hop. I was raised without a dad, so I gotta be the best, and I love this rap, so I gotta be the best. Got joint custody of my son, and so Cadillac's joints now the rest. I'll be there when you know I'll be there when. But will y'all be there when? Yeah, we'll all be there when it's over. I'll be there when. You know I'll be there when. But will y'all be there when? We'll all be there when it's over. Sing it with me. Home I know comes first. And second to that I'll be when you're not there. I want you right here with me. I can't really sing, I be trying though.
I don't want you to protest, I don't want you to
so
riot, I don't want you to write to your
getting
congressman.
halfway through the performance part.
I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflations and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Imagine that the states were occupied by China. Imagine that defended fam will put you in a lineup. Imagine that you got gunfighter instead of trial. Imagine that they dumped you in a ditch with your daughter. Imagine that for this China's troops were all applauded. Imagine those surviving and your family had to watch it. Imagine they were labeled insurgents for trying to stop it. Imagine they received the same treatment and dealt the darkness. Imagine that the leaders of this country couldn't do shit. Imagine after all this it was pointless trying to prove shit. Imagine having no voice when elections came around. Imagine even if you did each other's word and back out. Imagine now who the last line I wrote was about. I'd imagine you picture the black president's charming smile. Imagine being one of them safe, secure China citizens, watching your leaders put ink to the deadliest of provisions yet. And that lie said you're a domestic terrorist. You could be locked for life, plus no one will ever know where this is. And all the blame for this went straight to the black president. No credit given to the faceless camp that is directing him. Imagine now you didn't have to imagine it. On foreign and U.S. soil, it's currently happening. But our demise is not supplied by slanted eyes. It's obviously served by dirty hands on crooked guys. If obviously America became a third world, I'm curious if I dare to fight, I watch it unfurl. Get scared and run, I pack some guns and let the bullets burst. I think I'll take the ladder, homie, family comes first. I never once gave a F about politics. I see that college isn't where their no knowledge lives. And little Tommy Dignan learned all of this. Fight yourself to study up, pass it on and polish it. So that song's called Peaceful Revolution.
When we leave as humans, we go back to being, human being. That really means something. But we live in a reality now, or in a time where I would say to anyone, you know, protect your spirit. Protect your spirit, because you're in the place where spirits get eaten.
This one's called Protect Your Spirit. That's John Trudell. He's one of the founders of the American Indian movement. He's a poet, a musician, just an all-around real knowledgeable guy. I know he advocates a lot for what is it, using hemp in place of other things, like environmental stuff. How two sick individuals can produce with residuals. The miracle of peely woven infant souls is crazy. Stated plainly, we see it hazy. Take not for granted the babies, may we pay heed to this cyclical storm. Melt the tip of this cyclical icicles, warmth to the bicycles, tires are worn. I scorn no man stand, naturally we're children of the corn. Not of the hamburger, not of the pie. Whoever said adults or educators was a lie. Parents teach without scouting out the outcomes. Our outlooks without doubt, a drought without sun. I only hope I give my son right away, while the difference he's created for me, night and day. Reconsider who you picture as teachers. It's not about the image, it's about what they teach us. So she's saying babies laugh a whole bunch of times in a day. So they're like really happy and they're really peaceful, and that's what we're all kind of striving for. But I find myself as an adult maybe laughing, you know, only 20 times a day. So who's really smart here? Who's really the educator? You know?
Like money.
God forbid our kids go to school to learn from fools. The melting pots already injecting them with the rules. Doubters gotta be Barbies to get in with the cool. Fellas wanna be like fathers that they never knew. I'm not saying every teacher isn't worth their pay. I'm simply saying most of them don't know of colored pain. They say you can't teach a no dog new tricks, nor can a foreign mind teach our minds old shit. Well, if I don't know my past, then my ass is grass. Same reason lost women sell their ass for cash. Same reason thirsty men trick their cash to tap. What's the haps with the pimps and the Cadillacs? Teens learn from a media that serves them elitist punks, with no wise folks to preach them up. Reconsider who you picture as teachers. It's not about the image, it's about what they teach us.
The human mind is like a computer.
So as a kid,
no matter how
if you ask me what I envision when you say the word teacher, I probably would have seen like an old white guy in a suit and tie or something like that. And that's not to say that that can't be the image of a teacher, but it can be so much more, you know? It's all about breaking down perception, you know? When a baby's misdirected, my best guess is it's due to the guardians elected. A baby's orbit is electric, so it must take some broke souls to dull its eccentrics. A young bold that accepted from the cities to the rest. Suicide is adolescent. This my attempt at progression. Still it's pity at its best, who am I to address it? I'm lost my damn self, myself I can't help. If I'm a grown soul, I better to my hands well. But I ain't got no time for yours if you're a grown man. There comes a point in time in life when we don't hold hands, when we're beyond pity, we don't be young. Look to yourself for help, I'm not woe begone fitting. Reconsider who you picture as teachers. It's not about my image, it's about what I teach you.
See, I am
It's all about the substance and not the look.
non-physical. And I live in this physical body. And I have the ability to put the vibration that my mind and body will be in.
And there at the end there, he was kind of getting into this thing that I discovered called a law of attraction, and how we have the power to decide what mood we want to be in and what kind of people we want to surround ourselves with. This one's called All Out Warfare.
Warmongers feed their daughters, killing mother, sons of guns, signing up for Uncle Sam's fights for what? Lust for thrill, just to kill, must have been the GI Bill. GI feel dumb and fit for justice, cause there's nothing real about it. It's just a drug possessed by the government. It's called patriotism. Everyone's in love with it, they're using it to tug us in. Then they'll likely tuck us in with 3 rifle volleys and a flag that doesn't love us, man. Treatment from my motherland, I'll tell you just how this trick works. Create a scheme to make some green, getting Americans berserk. Filling shit with munitions, Americans in a British flag, send it towards some angry Germans who be glad to sink the crab. They ain't saying Guten Tag, they banged upon the Lusitania. When newspapers broke the news, America waged war in anger. This Patriot Act had kids in puberty suiting up for war. What's more, most enlisted soldiers came from houses that were poor. Wilson used our citizens as instruments to get in it. He sacrificed their lives inside that shit so we would ride for it, die for them. Soldiers unknowingly fight just to provide the rich with more wealth, good health, and the power of dictatorships. And that's how America got involved in WW1. So George W. Bush types could have fun in the sun, borrowing funds from the feds to fund their money for guns. War racketeering banker thugs get their money from blood. Defense contractors and politicians get the kickback. And these fuckboys got the nerve to lock you for a Nick sack. Convince you it's a tic-tac, really it's a Kit Kat. Like telling you 9/11 was an outside job, but we know that's whack. It was the foundation of this proud nation's war we're still in. I got nothing but love for soldiers answering with good intent. Cause I love my city, I love this country, and I love our citizens. But a lot of y'all sleep to the fact that your lead will kill for dividends. I feel the latent effects of assimilation in a city native, raised by bright lights and skyscrapers, born with dim prospects, little peace in living as a child. Hot-headed about the fact I wasn't wild like they called my ancestors. Imagine what it'd be to live nomadic off the land and free. Instead, I was full of heat like a furnace, cause I wasn't furnished with the language and tradition of ways of my peeps. Yeah, I used to feel like I wasn't truly indigenous. Now I say Nequitch, get your money due for showing me my true roots. Definitely native, take responsibility for being educated. My people and customs originating from early phases of history. Yes, deeper than fried bread and contest powwows. Tears shedding the sweat lodge. Prayers go out to all those I've wronged and who have wronged me. Gotta treat them like family. Get your money due, we do Kawashin. Jamushka Wizzy Gan, me Dutch Bumit, it is Gan. Me Jishanam, Zagit Iway, when Gnu Jishanam, Bizendale with Shanam. Me Wayne Janaga Mogan, Nima Shomis, we do Kawashanam. Jit I budget 2 Yang, Anishinaabe, Jit Twawin. Me Jit Bit, you came to mind, Ki, Anishinaabe, Bit my dizzy win. Becoming aware of a heartbeat's fragility, so I pray for my creator's will and humility. It seems my prayer's weak, I can't speak, not a linguist. Does he hear my English when I vent? I fear the answer to the question. This is symbolic of anguish, I fear regarding language and the obligation of revitalizing something sacred. Failure to carry through is disgrace in a nation. My first tongue's in need of a facelift, but deciphering conjugations like trying to find my way through a maze in the matrix. Complex, hard to start without an end. Decipher from being fluent. I gotta push the limit if I'm gonna keep pursuing. So I use it in a way that relates to my life and vocab. Bring some entertainment to it, spit it on the track, and I take it out the class. Can't let what I lack become a self-defeating habit that'll make me wanna quit. Get your money due, we do Kawashin, Jamaska Wizigan, me Dutch but me, it is yan, me Jishanam, Zagit, Iway, when good news, Jishanam, Bizendale with Shanam, me Wayne, Janagamogan, Nima Shomis, we do Kawashanam, Jit, I budget 2, Anishinaabe, Jit Twawa, me Jit Bit, you came to mind, Kaya, Anishinaabe, be my dizzy win.
So that song's called Prayers in a Song, and that's the bilingual track. It's like the song I'm most known for, pretty much. It's in my language, Ojibwe, and the chorus is basically a prayer in Ojibwe. And I just love performing that song because I can like be on stage and pray at the same time, literally. So it's like, it's cool, you know, be able to bring prayer with me everywhere I go. So basically what I do in my public speaking engagements is I just tell my life story. It's not scripted. I don't, you know, so excuse me if I kind of bounce around a little bit. It's never always completely the same. I try to get as much in there as I can, and I like to keep it real and try to inspire people, because I know this is about overcoming racism and overcoming so much more. I grew up in South Minneapolis. Born to a young Native couple. I think my dad was around until I was like 1 or 2, and then he was in and out of prison a lot, so I don't remember seeing him as a baby. I think my first time meeting him was when I was like 8 or 9. So I was living with my mom, and then she got married to my little brother and sister's father. And from a very young age, I'd say like basically from the time I was born until 6 or 7, I stayed with my mom and her husband as much as I can remember. And I remember there being domestic violence in the house. Like my little brother and sister's dad, my stepdad, he'd like beat my older brothers, and he would beat my mom. I would never see it, but I would like see the effects of it, and I'd know it, you know what I mean? I knew about it. And he did, one time he kind of slammed my head on this table and split my lip open. That's like the one thing he did to me, you know what I mean? So from a very young age, I was already immersed into this unhealthy environment. So my mom, she got the strength to leave him. She left him, and thankfully she left him. And from there, me and my little brother and sister, and just basically me and all my siblings, we moved in with our grandma. It was kind of like, it was like the whole tribe was in one house, you know. My grandma was mean too, because of that probably, you know. Like she had a couple of her own grown kids, you know, there are adults living with her, and then some of her kids, and then maybe even at one point her kids. Like there might have been 4 generations in the house at one time. And looking back, I understand why she was so mean. Like, as she'd do the hair pulling and the ear stretching, it was funny. Like I'd get buzz cuts, and if I did something, she'd like try to pull my hair, and she couldn't, so she'd just grab my ears. Yeah, but she's real sweet now, you know, so I forgive her. But yeah, so so the environment at my grandma's wasn't the best either. There's a lot of beer cans, ashtrays, things like that, like my uncle and aunties. Getting drunk and stuff, and then even my cousins, you know, they're teens, you know, smoking weed, and boyfriends bringing guns around the house and stuff like that. So that was kind of the environment I grew up in, and from, I'd say maybe around the age of 7 or 8, I started thinking to myself, like, man, like I started noticing what was around me and understanding it, and hearing the ideas of college and what it means to be successful. Like I kind of had a grasp on what that might look like. So I told myself from a very young age, you know, I was gonna be there for my kids. I'm gonna be a good husband, I'm gonna work a good job and make a good career. You know, basically I'm gonna be goody two-shoes. That's the idea I had in my mind at that age. So I was learning from the mistakes of others around me. And yeah, it didn't necessarily work out that way. Yeah, I was real hopeful, but yeah, it didn't work out that way. Not necessarily. So around the age 10, I'd say maybe around age 9, I moved back with my mom, and she was in another abusive relationship. When I was like 10, she got us into the Women of Nations battered women's shelter. I don't know if anybody's heard of that. It's here in St. Paul. We were staying there, and then she got us a place in this small town called Redwood Falls in like southwestern Minnesota. And I stayed there for a couple years, and that was probably like the best 2 years of my life. Just big old field by our townhouses, all kind of friends, you know, it was stability, and we was playing football all the time. So yeah, I had a real good time there, and I was never, to this point, aware that my mom had any kind of substance abuse issues. So she kind of kept that from me all the way up until I was 12 years old. I was unaware of that. And but when I was 12, I noticed we're at the tail end of living in Redwood Falls, and I noticed she started like disappearing. You know, she'd go somewhere and not come back for a week or two, and she'd say it was because her car broke down or something like that. She'd give us some kind of story. But then she started bringing the drugs back to our townhouse, and that's when I learned about it. And one day she kind of locked herself in the bathroom for like a day straight. And I was just like, what the hell is going on, you know? And then my older brothers that kicked in the door, and that's when I first like became aware of crack. You know, she was like just, I still remember it, you know, like her lips crackling, kind of like, it was just seeing her like that. I was just like, whoa, like what is this, you know? Never seen my mom like this. So then it continued until one day, you know, she had me babysitting my little brother and sister and a couple of her friends' kids. And they didn't come back that night, so I had to like try to decide what to do. Like, do I send them to school or what do I do? So I was like 12. My little brother and sister are like 8 and 6, and I didn't know no better. So I told them to get their backpacks on, get dressed, and walk, you know, a mile, 2 miles to school. Wasn't thinking, didn't have my thinking cap on there. But yeah, so they walked across this town. And not long later, there was a knock at the door. There was the cops. They had my little brother and sister. They're like, where's your mom at? Why are these 2 kids walking so far to school, you know? I was like, I don't know where she's at. She didn't come back last night. And they said, you know, is there somebody who can take you guys or something like that? I was like, yeah. I called my older brother. He's 18, I'm 19 at the time. And then the cops, and he was like, yeah, I'll be right there. And he came, and then the cops just decided, you know, I think it might have been a racist thing, you know, because it was like my brother's an adult, he could take us. But the cops took us anyway and put us into foster care. So, yeah, we got put into foster care, and that was just like devastating, you know. It was very traumatic as a kid to go through that for the first time. So, yeah, and then from this point on, you know, we started, I'd say over the next 4.5 years of my life, I bounced back and forth between foster homes, group homes, and my family. I lived with a number of different family members and things like that. And I developed very strong negative feelings for my mom as a result of all this. And yeah, it was tough, you know, and I started bouncing around like town to town as a result of this. Kindergarten through 12th grade, I probably went to like 25 to 30 different schools. So I became, I guess, introverted, you know. I started like not even caring to make friends because I knew I'd be moving probably anyway. So I'm just like, man, whatever. And then I'd be living in some small white town up north with my grandma, and you know what I mean? I'd be the kid from the hood, so they'd be trying to clown or something like that, you know. And yeah, so it was, I just kind of got inside of myself and became introverted. And around the age of 14, I started writing raps, using that as an outlet. I was still into sports, and I'd say 15 or 16, one of my older brothers and my cousin got me into smoking weed and drinking, you know. And I was just like, you know, at this point, I'm like, man, I want to hang out with the older kids, you know, screw playing football and all that. I want to get some girls and stuff like that, you know. I want to be cool. So I started doing what they were doing. And I just got into it real heavy, like right away, real fast. Just became full-blown alcoholic within like a year. I wasn't aware of it, you know, but I had a drinking problem for sure. And it was like an escape mechanism, you know. And yeah, from there,
I started falling behind in school. In high school, I started falling behind. Then my senior year came around, and that mentality that I had as a kid, like I'm gonna do something with my life, kind of came back in. It kind of crept back in. I was still partying and all that, but I was like, man, I gotta go to college. I gotta do something. I don't wanna just graduate high school and get a job, you know? So, yeah, I got enrolled in the double credit program at South High School. I stayed after school like that whole year. I went to summer school the summer before my senior year, and I just barely managed to graduate high school on time. So I graduated high school, and then I applied to college at the University of Minnesota. I applied there, but I graduated with a 1.96 GPA, so I didn't get accepted. And I just was not educated or prepared for the whole college application process. You know, I only applied to one school, and yeah. So after that, I was just like, I went to school and told my school counselor, I was like, you know, I'm just gonna apply to MCTC, because I know I could probably get into there. I know it's just like kind of placement tests and stuff like that. And she was just real passionate. She was like, no, F that, you know, we're gonna write an appeal, you know what I mean? She was like, you've been through a lot in your life and you deserve a chance and all this and that. Like, really, I was like, okay, you know. So I was like, okay, all right. So she was like, come in my office, you know, and so I sat down there with her, and she actually like typed up the letter for me. I just told her, she was like, all right, so kind of tell me what to say, you know, and I just broke down my story, kind of how I am with y'all. And she just typed up this letter, this appeal letter, and then we mailed it in. And, you know, that first letter I got from them was real thin, you know, the rejection letter. So then I said like a few weeks later maybe, sometime within the next month, I got home after school one day, toward the end of the school year, and went into my auntie's house. I was staying with my auntie at this time. And I just kind of checked the mail, because the mail's always on the desk right inside her door. And I seen this big old fat University of Minnesota letter there, and it had my name on it. I was like, oh man, like this can't be a rejection letter. Like I pretty much, like I had it in my mind, you know, and as a kid, my dream was to like play football for the Gophers and, you know, play football for the Vikings and all that. But this was like a nice consolation prize, you know. I opened up the letter, and there was the, you know, that first page, I opened it up, and it was like, congratulations, Paul Wenell Jr., you've been accepted to the University of Minnesota. Started outlining, you know, what do they call it? I'm losing the word, but basically that orientation, yeah. So they started telling me what dorm I was gonna stay in and all that, and I was just kind of like dumbfounded. I was just shocked. I was like, man, like, because I'm the first person in my family to go to a 4-year university like that. You know, there's definitely been some, like, thank you. But yeah, so I got into college, and it was just like a crazy experience, you know. It was crazy. But meanwhile, you know, I'm still partying and doing my thing on that end of things. And I kind of fooled myself, you know. I was like, I'm in college, like I'm successful now, like my life is gonna be good, you know. At that young age, I fooled myself into believing that. And I got into school, and here I am still partying and stuff. And I think 2 times within my freshman year, I got into trouble in my dorm. I had some friends over, and yeah, just got into trouble in my dorm, and I got put on academic probation, and I had to write a letter stating how I would change my behavior. And that was just kind of like a wake-up call, and I was just like, man, I gotta like be better. In my mind, I was like, I gotta be better at hiding what I'm doing, you know. Yeah, you know. So I just kind of got more sneaky, you know. I didn't actually correct myself at that point yet. And in that first year, I met my son's mom. We met toward the end of my freshman year in college, and we started dating. And about a year later, let's see, this is 2006. Say a little over a year later, she got pregnant. She got pregnant, and right away though, like our relationship was based on like partying, drinking and stuff. It was just not healthy, misguided. You know, we're 2 young kids, misguided. She was like 21, I was like 19, and partying all the time, basing our relationship on the wrong thing. So it became unhealthy real quick, you know. And yeah, she got pregnant,
And then about 6 months after my son was born in 2008, she left me, and it was for the better, you know. Like, looking back, I'm glad that it happened. It was real heartbreaking at the time, you know, but I made a lot of mistakes in that relationship, and I deserved it, you know what I mean? She deserved better. And my son, at the same time, I had it in my mind, I'm like, you know, this needs to happen because my son can't grow up in this negative environment that we're in, you know, like arguing all the time, fighting. It's just crazy, you know. And I got, so toward the end of the year he was born, I got in like a little fight at a bar and got thrown in jail, and there was alcohol involved and stuff, so I got court ordered to get sober, and so I started going to meetings, and I got put on probation, and after a while I was just like, man, like I could stick with this, you know. This is like October 2008. After a while, I'm just like, my life is getting better. This is when I started taking on recording and performing, because I needed something to fill all that time I used to spend partying. So like, I stayed sober for like 4 months, and it was going good, you know, and then I had a relapse. And I just remember feeling really bad after that first relapse, and it was like a one-day thing. I got up the next day and got back on the meetings and everything. And it happened a couple more times until the summer of 2009. And then at that point, my son's mom took him and moved up north like 5 hours away. And like the very next day, I woke up, I don't know, something just like clicked inside of me. I was like, man, like my son and his mom are gone. Now I can't even see my son barely. She don't want nothing to do with me. I'm living in this, you know, environment, this dirty environment, just getting drunk all the time, doing the wrong things. And I just woke up one day and just something was inside of me. I was just like, man, I've had enough of this. I started cleaning up this apartment I was staying at with my cousins. And then I got out the house and I just prayed, you know, like, man, just get me through this first day. Like get me through this first day. Don't, you know, help me to not smoke this weed. Help me to not drink no liquor, you know what I mean, through this first day. And I got through that first day. I went to like a few meetings. And from there, I just kept doing it day by day. And eventually, you know, I just stayed sober, you know, and that was like June 17th, 2009. So it's been a while now, you know. Thank you. So yeah, and now recently though, I'm learning like for myself, sobriety is not enough. And I'm at like another turning point in my life. I consider that a turning point in my life, getting sober. But basically, for the most part, I was just kind of like putting a cork in it and not actually doing anything about the deeper problems. And I'm learning now that my problem is myself. So now I'm in this place where I need to overcome myself and all the bad habits I've internalized and kind of cemented within myself that are just there, and I need to like chip away at them hardcore and, you know, replace them, you know. And so what I've been doing is I still go to meetings, and I don't know if you guys know a lot about all of that, but there's like mentors in those programs and stuff, and I got one of those, and you know, I found the right meetings to go to, people who do it how it's supposed to be done, and I can see it in their eyes, in their behaviors, in their actions. I found the right people that I can follow their lead and show me how to get to where they're at. You know, I found people that I see, it's like they have what I want. You know, there's a peace about them. They're not melodramatic like I am. They used to be, definitely. Like, it's just, that's something with, you know, us addicts and all of that, you know, it's like it's intense. It's either like this or that. It's never in the middle. But here they are in the middle, you know, and I'm like, okay, I want to get there, you know, and so yeah, that's what I've been doing, and I've been doing everything involved with that, like the writing, identifying my problems, my problem behaviors, and finding out what the alternatives are to those problem behaviors. And it's just been a blessing, you know, and I've found a belief in a higher power, you know, in some type of spirituality that I never had up until I got sober. So, yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at today. You know, I've been performing for 6 years now. About as long as I've been sober, I've been performing. This year really picked up. I've been out of state a handful of times now, and it's just looking up, you know. Life is really looking up, and I know I'm in a place right now where I know I have the tools and the people and the support system to be the person that I really want to be. And it's all up to me now to do the work that I know I got to do. So, yeah, that's where I'm at, and thank you for having me.
So, I just want to say, if anybody's interested, I got CDs and sweaters and stuff. So, yeah, I'll be up there.
Thank you so much, Talpa.